watchers. Welcome back to Faith, Family, and Fun Reviews. If you're new here on this channel, I share with you delightful, family-friendly, and faith-based movies and television shows. As y'all can tell by the scenery here, I told y'all in the last video, working on different things, trying to grow, get better at a lot of different things to make it more fun for us as we hang out. So I hope you all are having a good time. I want to thank you all for joining me today because we're going to get started with a brand new series, at least for this channel, right? Y'all know I've been reviewing different series. Well, before I get into all of that, let's start off in let's get comfy, okay? Let's do our check-in and see how everything is going. So how are you all doing today? How is your week going thus far? I don't know when you should be seeing this video, but I'm thinking probably Tuesday. So we're still kind of in the whole getting back into the work flow, I guess, because coming off of the weekend, you know, sometimes you still be in that little relaxation thingy, and now we're back hitting the ground running, right? For most people, okay? So how's it going? How are y'all adjusting? What are you expecting the Lord to do for you today, this week, this season in your life? All of that good stuff. Go ahead and drop it in the comments because y'all know I am here for it. Y'all know I love to hear about what's going on in your faith journey because it's so important. That is number one before we get into any entertainment and all of that. We know that our relationship with the Lord comes first. We do everything to the praise and honor and glory of his name because we truly do love and adore him, and he loves and adores us. We are the apple of his eye, and we want to please him in all that we do. We want to make him proud, right? At least that's how I'm feeling. So I'm super excited to be tapping into something a little bit more different. Not really something that I'm fully comfortable at, but I'm like, okay, we're family here. So y'all are growing with me. And yeah, and I really wanted to make this time together with you all a little bit more enjoyable. Y'all have something more to kind of focus on, to participate a little bit by having different things on the screen for you. So I hope you are, get you a little snack, take a seat and relax a little bit because y'all know how our reviews / recaps can go. These are a little bit more of my long-winded videos. Yes, it is. It's a lot when you really get to spend a lot of time with your sister, your sister beloved here, okay? This is when I get to lay it all out. My thoughts, my feelings about different things that went down in this particular season thus far, on this particular episode thus far. We're just starting out the season. But anyways, before we get into that, listen, you see y'all, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But yes, let's go ahead and let me tell y'all how I'm doing because y'all let me know how y'all feeling and all of that, what you got going on, what good stuff, what blessings, everything like that. Y'all know the deal. Drop it in the comments. But as for me, super excited to be hanging out with y'all. I really am like I don't like to use the word pride. I don't know why, because it almost seems like y'all know, okay, whatever, okay. But I am super pleased with myself because I'm trying out different things to make this broadcasting this time together a little bit more enjoyable for you all, a little bit more entertaining, I hope. But more than that, I want you all to walk away encouraged, inspired, edified if you can, if you take away something from this whole time together, this episode. Beautiful, wonderful. Okay, prayers have been answered definitely in that department. But yes, I'm so excited, y'all. Like really, really excited to be hanging out with y'all and get into this. But that's where I'm at right now. That is where I'm at. But yes, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Did you get your snacks? You got your Bible ready? All of that. You're ready. You're relaxed. You in that mode of being still. Because I know that can be a challenge in this day and age, us being still, quieting our souls, turning everything off, okay? And just communing and fellowshipping with one another in the Lord. So I hope you all are right there in this place right now. And if you have to walk away a little bit, pause the video, we have to come back. You got a little bit more time, quiet time, that's okay as well, okay? That's what the replays and all of that is for your enjoyment. You can play it as much as you need to, as much as you like, right? But we're going to go ahead and get started with our special feature today, which is titled When Calls the Heart, y'all. Okay. Ooh, forgive me, y'all. I'm all in the wrong. See, y'all gotta bear with me. Okay, I'm in the wrong thing. But anyways, yes, we are here with When Calls the Heart. This is a faith-based series, which y'all know. Let me go ahead and mention that right now, okay? Because I'm about to get into that before we did our weekly check-in and all that good stuff, okay? Anyways, so yeah, like I am trying to narrow it down to what shows I really want to review and recap. And right now I decided to stick to When Calls the Heart. I know this is a long series, especially since we're just starting out. And I know I was a little bit all over the place prior to this time. I was on the Baxters, I got into Chesapeake Shores, Heartland. I was just everywhere. And then when I decided to be still and quiet myself, I'm like, I want to focus more on when it comes to shows right now, the faith-based shows. We get enough clean movies, we get enough clean other television shows and different things like that. But I really feel that necessary that we need to get more on the faith thing, okay? So we're gonna stick with When Calls the Heart. So y'all forgive me for not continuing the other television shows that I started, that I have stopped as of right now. We're gonna stay focused and we're gonna stay with this series, which is based off books, which I truly love and excited about that as well. But yeah, I want to make sure we are drawing closer and closer to the Lord. So I want to stick with the faith-based shows as of right now. And if anything changes for whatever reason in the future, of course, I will let you all know either in the video or in the comments. So yes, we are here with When Calls the Heart. And let me tell y'all what this this first episode is about, right? Constable Jack Thornton tries to discover a plane's rightful owner after it is discovered in a mine. Elizabeth tries to capture the enthusiasm of her students in the wake of tragedy, y'all. So, okay, this is like I said, it's a faith-based show based off numerous novels. So we are following a story, a real life story here, in the sense of it has already been written. So I truly do enjoy that. If any of y'all know me, y'all know I enjoy reading. So to see that this series is based off a series of books is very exciting to me. I'm just like, oh, over the moon, over the moon, over the moon. But yeah, like here we're gonna go ahead and get into the characters, because y'all know, for me, what makes a great story the majority of the time is those characters being on point. Yes, I enjoy a good plot, but the characters that pulls me, that draws me, that there's that heart connection. Okay, that heart. That's what that pull on my heartstrings. Okay, pull on my heartstrings. Right. So here, our first character we want to get into is Miss Elizabeth, right? Now, Elizabeth is a sweet young woman. Let me just say the wardrobe in this series is so amazing, beautiful. I so see myself dressing like this, and it is crazy because you're like, girl, beloved, we in 2025. Who is really doing this? I know that is like almost the sad part here, but this is like the wardrobe here in the series is like everything. Okay, this is like so how I see myself. I love the flare type sleeves. I love the flowy, the puffy dresses and skirts and all of that. They're amazing, immaculate. Okay. But here we meet Elizabeth, and the show starts off. We are first introduced to Elizabeth. It revolves around her. We can tell she is a teacher. She's coming into a new town here, Hope Valley, Coal Valley. That's what I believe it changed to Hope Valley later, but yeah, we're in Coal Valley here. And she is coming into town with, like a purpose. She is driven here. She is lured. Well, I'm gonna say she has been encouraged to come to this town, and she is a teacher to teach her to teach students. Okay, that is her purpose. That is her goal here. And like anything, y'all know how it is when the Lord gives us a purpose or gives us a dream that we can get all excited about, and we're all like, at the very beginning when we first hear from the Lord, we get that dream. We're super excited at that point. We're like, yes, Lord, we're here for it. Excuse me, y'all, get this out of my head. Okay, we are so here for it at that moment, right? But like with any dream, hold on, y'all, y'all, forgive me. Okay, y'all, I am back. I had to get something out of my head. Ugh. But anyways, yeah. So like I was saying at the very beginning, when the Lord gives you that dream, you're full of excitement, you're full of hope. You see it happening more so quickly than not, and you're like nothing can stand in your way. Like you're going beyond the stars, the moons to accomplish all of this wonderful stuff. You can see it even before it has officially manifested. You can see it in your heart. You know it. You can almost taste that dream coming to pass. And I felt that with Elizabeth on her way to Cold Valley here. But along the way, just to get here, she is having stumbling blocks. Okay, everything that can go wrong is going wrong. Her stuff is all over the place. She has issues with her carriage and all of that. She is just a mess. And probably I'm imagining her thoughts here. Okay, y'all forgive me. Y'all know I put myself in these characters' positions. Okay, so I'm imagining her thoughts, and I'm like, okay, Elizabeth is probably like, at this point, when all of this stuff is just going wrong left and right, did I really hear from God? Am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right place? Because I am coming from a place, Elizabeth background, she is coming from a place of luxury. Her parents have money. She has it all. There's nothing she has a need or a want for. So that's the background she's coming from. And now she's on her own as a young woman, following her dream, which she believes is her purpose from the Lord, coming into this new town, not knowing anyone. And then on top of that, everything that can go wrong is going wrong. And she is not getting like this big welcoming party, like the red carpet is thrown out for her. If anything, when the women of this town lay eyes on Elizabeth, they see this prancy, prissy like princess. Okay, like, what do you know about hard times? Like, are you seriously in the right place? Shouldn't you be sitting on a throne or something? That is the whole vibe that we're getting here as far as how a lot of people view Elizabeth, at least the women right off the way, and even some of the men, which we're going to get into a little bit later. But yes, that is the whole thing. And she, like I said, Elizabeth, she comes from luxury, she comes from money, so she dressed very, very well, super pretty. You don't see her like her dresses, everything is clean, everything is nice in place. Okay, she is doing her thing, especially for the time that she's living in, for the century that she is living in. But overall, the way that she dressed, what you expect a person who dressed like this, you would think that their attitude kind of matches that. Like the attitude is probably a little bit too good for anybody else. Expect the world to bow down to them. Expect everything to be easy. That is not Elizabeth here. She has a very gentle, quiet, loving, compassionate spirit. And that's what makes her all the more beautiful, makes her more welcoming, inviting. That is what truly draws people to her right off the bat and gives and makes that connection right there. And so we're right there with Elizabeth. She is a character that keeps you wanting to know what is around that next corner. We are rooting for her right off the bat. There is a connection. This is like our sister. This is someone we want to protect. This is someone we want to see win in life with whatever she does, wherever she goes, because she has that about her. Such a beautiful, compassionate, like I said, spirit. So that is Elizabeth right off the bat. So y'all know I was just like, I was totally in. I'm totally here for it. I'm totally hooked with just us being introduced to the sweet Elizabeth. And then we're going to move on to Miss Abby, okay? Abby is totally different, but there's something quite special about Abigail here. I'm calling her Abby. I don't even know if they call her Abby for short, but Abby. Okay, I'm going to respect that. Abigail, all right? So this is sweet Abigail, who Elizabeth ends up housing with at the very moment. First, when Elizabeth does arrive in town, like I said, she had quite a few stumbling blocks, and she ended up staying in a place that they had available for her, but it ended up burning down by accident. Elizabeth had her dress near the fire and it caught on fire. So that was a disaster. And at that point, you would think that would send her running out of town, running for her life. She is just like, okay, what in the world? Maybe I heard from God wrong. I don't know, because this is just horrible. I mean, already the town is kind of skeptical, hesitant about Elizabeth. Like I said, they're not necessarily the most welcoming, throwing out a red carpet for her. And then when that happens, like she burns down her place. But the sweet Abigail here does accept Elizabeth into her home. And we learn a little bit about Abigail, that she was married. She is a widow, and she lost her husband, but you can tell that she is still in love with her husband, still in that grieving stage, but at the same time she's strong. There's a strength about Abigail that is so like enduring. It really is. The fact that this woman has been through a lot, you can tell, even though we don't know her story to the fullest, but we do know there is a story there. There's a lot of heartache, there's a lot of trauma there. But I love the way that Abigail carries herself in a way that, yes, the world has dealt her some terrible cards, but she is not going to stay in that place. If anything, she finds her purpose in servanthood, being a light for others, being that comfort, that refuge, that rock for the other women in town, as well as the sweet Elizabeth here, who she knows is like a daughter almost to her. And she wants to protect her. She wants to be there for her as much as she can. But that is her whole attitude, her whole persona with all the women in town. Abigail is a leader. She is a fighter. She is willing to put in the work. She's willing to put on the boots, okay? And do what she has to do to provide for herself. And this is all new to her. You can tell it's very, very new to her. It's such a different new place for her. But at the same time, she's not willing to crawl in the pit and to cry her eyes out, because she knows the God that she serves. She knows that there's a reason for this. And at the end of the day, God is good. God is not to be blamed. He is not just because I am going through this or that and life just seems like, where is the sunlight here? I know at the end of the day, I know within my heart that the Lord is good. He is always good. He is always gracious. And if I don't have him, who do I have, right? And so that is what Abigail gives off, which adds such a meaningful, very powerful aspect to this show, to this entire series. So I'm so here for this. Automatically love Abigail. Now we're going to move on to a little bit of a little something. Look, a little tug of war here. I'm going to say, yes, a little tug of war here when we get to Jack, okay, the constable. I love that, the constable. Okay, this ain't the po-po and all of that, the police and everything, like what we call them nowadays, which sounds so, it sounds so just ratchet, okay? Compared to when we look at how things are done back here in this time, it is counsel. It's Counsel Jack. It's the constable. And I'm just like, I love that. But Jack is like, in many ways, like Elizabeth. He is sent here on a mission, on a purpose. And this is not on the contrary to Elizabeth. Jack was not excited about coming to Cold Valley. He felt like this is a little bit slow. This is not the action packed what he's probably willing to get into. Jack is one of those. He want to use his skills. He want to get out there. He wants to feel useful and to do his job, right? So Cold Valley was not the place that he felt like he was supposed to be. It didn't make sense to him, but at the same time, he was sent here, so he's gonna do his best while he is here. But he learns a few things, and he starts to see the reason, at least in the natural, why he felt like he was sent here when he meets Elizabeth. And him and Elizabeth's meeting isn't quite the best at first, but you can tell there's a little chemistry. I'm not gonna say a little chemistry. It was definitely a lot of chemistry there. There is an attraction, but it's done so perfect, with such perfection. It really is. It's in a way where it's so classy, it's so respectable, it's so honorable. And that's what I love about the times of the show and where we're at. This is the day and age where people write letters, where people pour out their hearts, and in a way, this is the day and age where it is normal for the guys to be protective of the women, all of the children. This is the day and age where the guys open the doors. They allow the women to go first, to be seated, to make sure they have. These are the day and age where the guys work and love to be there for the women, protect them. They are who God created them to be. What happened between then and now, child, don't ask me. It is so contrary. It is so crazy, but that's what we love about fiction. We love about these type of shows and stories because we can take a break away from what we got going on in reality and dive into something that is beautiful, dive into something that reminds us how gracious, how good, how wonderful God is. And truly, there is light out there. As long as God is here and existing, truly, we can hope and we can have hope no matter what we're seeing. So, here, yes, we love Jack. As much as him and Elizabeth kind of clash, there's a little bit of slick talking back and forth, the banter. It is adorable because we see the chemistry all laced through it. And we want it right off the bat. First episode, we want this couple, we want these two people to somehow find a way to one another, even though it seems quite impossible at this time. But we do see that attraction. That is what kind of pulls us more and more into like wanting them together, into praying like, please, Lord, let Jack and Elizabeth get together. That is just automatically first episode. Yes, hopeful romantic here, okay. But Jack learns, dealing with, when he finds out who Elizabeth's dad is, when she shares that information with him, he realizes, okay, so this is the daughter of the rich guy. So you're telling me I'm here in this small rinky-dink town that has absolutely nothing going on because of this rich guy's rich little daughter that I'm supposed to protect. That's basically why you sent me here, to make sure little Miss Princess stays safe. And Elizabeth totally resents that. She is like, number one, she can take care of herself, and how dare you, okay? How dare you? Blame this on my father, okay? I am here. I'm a teacher. I can take care of myself. I'm independent. I do not need someone looking over me like I am a child, all right? And it's so beautiful to see this kind of thing go. And then it's just like, but it really hits Jack, and to the point where Jack is a little bit disappointed, feels some kind of way in that moment when he learns that and making that connection of why he's truly here in Cold Valley. And he immediately at some point requests to be transferred out of here, because right off the bat, him and Elizabeth ain't clicking, and he is like, this is ridiculous. I did not come here to be a babysitter over a rich little princess here, okay? That is not him. But what he learns throughout this episode, that there is much more to Cold Valley than what the natural eye sees. There's so much more going on. Forgive me, y'all. There's so much going on. There's so many different things. Like, this town is mourning right now. This town has lost so many women. There's so many widows here who have lost their husbands, who have lost their children in this mine explosion that happened recently. So you have the town trying to adjust to that, and there's so much going on because there has to be an investigation into this to see if this was truly an accident or if this was something that could be prevented. And so Jack does take the initiative to try to find out, okay, what has happened here. His heart is like totally, you can tell, melting over what the women are going through, how so many widows all at once because they have lost their husbands who gave their time, who gave their hearts to the work that they did here in this town. And so we have all of that going on, plus this plank, it has been found with this message on there, and they're trying to find who does it rightfully belong to, who was the message was truly for, because truly someone left a message, someone who had passed away left a message behind for their family. And so many different families are hoping that it was their husbands who left this message, because everybody kind of, I guess this plank kind of gives closure to someone, but we don't know who it is at this point, right? But we do learn by the end of the episode that it does belong, the message was meant for Miss Abigail, who already knew that it was for her, but she, being the gracious, kind, beautiful woman that she is, she did not want to step up and take ownership of it, because she knew that it could possibly hurt the other women, the other widows in town who didn't get that closure from their loved ones. And so it would just cause like so much confusion, probably so much resentment, just because people, when you're dealing with grief and loss, anger is, unfortunately, does play a part in that. And a lot, and she just didn't want to like be a part of that. She didn't want that out there like that. She would much rather healing for all of the women out here, regardless of how she was feeling. Even though she's hurting, she lost as well. But it was just something to see these women, to see these town folks come together at a time like this when they truly needed one another and they truly needed God. And so all of this different stuff happened here in this episode. Like I said, the main characters that we are introduced to so far that I can tell are going to be recurring characters are beautiful. They are what draws us in. They are what connect our hearts to this show thus far and makes you want to keep watching, because literally I went to the second episode, which I'm going to get going, record after this at some point, probably not right away because I already see the time. We are already going into 26 minutes, going to be 30 minutes soon. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to jump right back on here and get into episode 2 right away. I may need to take a break, some water and stuff. But that's pretty much what happened in this episode. Like I said, I love the foundation here that this show paints for us. Right off the bat, you can tell that it doesn't shy away from the faith, which meant a lot to me. That's why I was like, I totally want to get into this show and share it with you all, because it doesn't shy away from prayer. It doesn't shy away from what we know God to be. And I love that these characters are all on their different journeys. They are meeting each other at this place in their life. They're crossing paths, and you can tell that God is doing something. He's working something out in the midst. We don't know exactly what it is, but it's something there, and it's very evident. It's very plain in sight. And I love that, y'all. Like, seriously. I love that. And I'm so excited about this show. Like, I really, really am. But before we head on truly out of here, I wanted to wrap this show up with a few things in mind that it brought to my attention. And that's what I really enjoy. I'm really enjoying about the show thus far, because it's like helping you on your own faith journey, your faith walk with the Lord. And with that being said, here at every episode, well, at the end of the episode, Elizabeth is writing, and Elizabeth is a writer. She does write in her diary, and we're gonna join her along as well, because at the end of every episode with us, I have put together here our own little diary. Yes, we are by the candlelight like Elizabeth here, and of course at the top of our page is Dear Jesus. And at this point, y'all can say whatever you all want to say to him and all of that, whatever's coming in your mind. But what stood out to me in this show, in this particular episode thus far, is purpose, heart, and will. And what I mean by that is these characters, both Elizabeth and Jack, were drawn to Cove Valley for a purpose. There was a purpose there, and they both had the will to follow that leading, whatever it was. Well, we know it's God. They both had, however Jack thinking, we ain't finna get into him. But we know from Elizabeth's perspective, she was led here by the Lord. And it takes courage to follow God's will for your life. It really does. Nobody says it's going to be easy. There are going to maybe some stumbling blocks, some different things along the way, as we do see in this episode with Elizabeth. It wasn't easy for her. And sometimes, and I want to point out too as well, because sometimes we be thinking, because we have a little bit of setbacks or certain things pop up in the way that may make you question, like, did I really hear from God? Am I truly in his will? And I want to let you know, we can see from this episode that, yes, that doesn't mean that you're not in God's will because you have some setbacks, some stumbling blocks that kind of come along in your path. Of course, the enemy is not going to make it easy for you to follow God. Of course, he wants to dissuade you and make you question that voice that you know that you heard. But having the courage, having that heart to continue to press forward and trust God, regardless of what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what is set before you, and saying, you know what, I'm going to stay the course. I'm going to keep on going, regardless of whatever it is. And that's what we saw in Elizabeth. We saw that she has a purpose. We saw that she has heart. She has the courage and the will to follow God's will for her life. And that's where we're at right now. That's what I walked away from this episode, which perfectly leads us out at a good time, which I wanted us to be out here in the 30-minute arena. But before I leave you all for today, yes, y'all, I know we got to get into the word. We got to get into the word, okay? But yeah, hold on, y'all. But today we're going to get into the word, and we are coming out of Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 6. And it reads, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. So that's all I have for y'all for this video. Thank y'all so much for watching. And until next time, may the Lord bless and keep you both now and forevermore.